Hey everyone, today we're going to start our new unit on scale drawings. I assigned a Google Doc for you to get started on. The first thing that you needed to do was to review the web page on proportional equations, how to set them up and solve them. We'll be using those equations as we progress in these scale drawings. As you go through this Google slide, you're going to be copying notes to put into your notebook. Be sure to include everything I tell you. There are 3 questions that are on that worksheet that you have, and we're going to be answering those as we go through this presentation. So here's your first question. What is a scale drawing? Well, a scale drawing is a drawing that shows a real object with proportional sizes reduced or enlarged by a certain amount. So this right here, I want you to make sure that you copy this in your notes. If you need to hit the pause button, then please do that right now because I'm going to keep going. So the 2 examples that we have, the first one here is a scale drawing of a city. Okay, obviously you can't draw the whole city on the paper because the paper wouldn't be big enough, so they scale it down. And all that scaling means is that it is exactly proportional to the real thing. It's just that they had to scale it down to be easily seen on a piece of paper. And then the other one over here, okay, this is a scale drawing of an apartment. Okay, and so people will use this when they're trying to look at layouts of apartments or houses if they're looking at house plans. Okay, here's the next question. And again, I want you to copy down all of these different types of jobs. So it says, who uses scale drawings? Well, architects use them, map makers, engineers, interior designers, and contractors. They are all different types of jobs that would benefit from having scale drawings or either making them or reading them. And then here's your next question. How do you set up a proportional equation to solve scale problems? Well, this is what I want you to use. And again, make sure you copy this right here. So when you're setting up a proportion, you're always going to do scale over actual equals scale over actual. Now, sometimes, as you'll see in the video, they'll actually set it up this way. They will do actual over scale. And then they would do equals the actual over scale. And that's okay, because remember when we first learned about proportions, as long as whatever you put in the numerator and put in the denominator is the exact same thing as on the other ratio, okay? But for my sake, I would really prefer that you use this way. Do scale over actual equals scale over actual. So here's an example. And I do want you to copy this example down because I think it's important to have this in your notes. So it says on a map, the scale used is 1.5 inches equals 20 miles. If the distance between the 2 cities is 9 inches on the map, what is the actual distance? So again, if we're going to set this up, we're going to use the proportion that I had just talked about in the previous slide. Scale over actual equals scale over actual. So what that means is you see this word where it says the scale. As soon as you see that in a word problem, that's going to be your first ratio that you should write down. And in this case, the ratio is 1.5 inches equals 20 miles. What this means is that on the map, every time I measure 1.5 inches, let's just say if we pretend like this is 1.5 inches, if it's 1.5 inches, in reality, it's actually 20 miles. Okay, so again, if I do inches over miles here, I have to do inches over miles on this side. And so since the other given piece of information is 9 inches, then my X would be the miles. Okay, so what's next? So next you're going to be going to Edpuzzle, and the link is right there for you to click, and you're going to watch a video showing you another example. There's going to be a couple of questions that you're going to need to answer, And when you're done with the Edpuzzle, then go back to that Google document, because the last thing that I want you to do is going to be doing some problems on Edulastic. So I hope that this helped. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you very much.